Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. The ARC of California is thrilled to offer Caring Futures, a proven resource program dedicated to supporting caregivers and family members of adults with disabilities. Understanding the unique challenges faced by family caregivers as they age, Caring Futures offers critical planning assistance, resources, and a supportive community. Caring Conversations is just one part of the Caring Futures program here at the ARC of California. We will share more about our other offerings by Caring Futures at the end of today's conversation, so please stay tuned. As you see, we have ASL interpretation for our discussion today. You can turn on closed captioning by clicking the button in the bar below. At the end of today's conversation, there will be a question and answer session. At that time, we'll invite you to raise your hand or type your question in the Q&A to ask our guest directly. Hello, everyone. In case you haven't met me before in previous Caring Conversations, my name is Felisa Strickland. I am a sole parent caregiver for my daughter, Lily. Lily is 24 years old. She has a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, autism, epilepsy, and IDD, and she requires full-time care. We enjoy our challenging and fun life in Santa Barbara, California. Alongside full-time caregiver, I am a strong advocate for individuals with disabilities and their families. I serve as a board member for the ARC of California, as well as Alpha Resource Center of Santa Barbara. I also participate on many committees and enjoy getting involved in fundraisers and advocacy projects in our community. As a parent, Caring Futures instructor, parent educator, I am thrilled to be here for this important conversation with you and our special guest. Today's topic is Discover AbilityFirst Programs that support adults with disabilities and give caregivers a break. Joining us for today's conversation is Araceli Gonzalez. Araceli is a bilingual Spanish diversity, equity, and inclusion programs manager and person-centered thinking trainer and facilitator for AbilityFirst, a Los Angeles-based organization that supports children and adults with disabilities. During her tenure at AbilityFirst, she has held many exciting leadership roles, such as programs, supervision, case and project management. Led by her passion for equity, Araceli has also been a coalition leader and advisory committee member of El Arc de California for 2 years. As a certified person-centered thinking bilingual trainer with extensive planning facilitation, she leads initiatives that amplify cultural sensitivity from assessments to program planning and delivery. Araceli holds a Bachelor of Science in Recreation Administration with an emphasis in recreation, therapy, and is certified in social emotional arts and healing program facilitation and the peers curriculum. With over 18 years of working with people with disabilities, her strength-based approach allows her to meet people where they are and offers a space for self-discovery, significance, and belonging. Without further ado, please welcome Araceli. Good morning, Araceli. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Felisa. It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this conversation. I think when we first met, I told you that my daughter had gone to camp last year at Camp Pavica. And when we were thinking about topics that would be meaningful for families, this one came to mind. So we're so excited to have you here. Before we get started, would you mind telling us a little bit more about you and what it is that connected you to a career serving individuals with disabilities and their families?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. Um, I I've been doing this for 18 years, and I never really understood how much my family impacted my my desire to be in this field. So I have several family members who have a disability themselves, and it was just part of our life. It really never was something separate. And I think that being exposed to the loving care that my family offered and the grace that they offered for their needs for the daily living just made it such a natural in for me. I never really thought of it as something different. And it wasn't a career that I had considered when I started college. And so it really speaks to my heart. It really speaks to um, the values of my family. And so I do this work truly from the heart.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for that. We need more people that that do it for that reason. But thank you so much for that, for telling us a little bit about that. So I mentioned already that my daughter Lily attended Camp Pavika for the first time last year, and this was such a wonderful thing for both of us. We were in desperate need of some respite from each
Mhm.
other. And she had an absolutely amazing time. So I know camp is one of the programs that you offer with from Ability First. But would you mind telling us a little bit about the variety of different programs you offer and where they're located?
Yeah, first, I'm so glad to know that your daughter enjoyed camp. What is there not to love about camp?
Right.
It is such an incredible space. I was just mentioning to you and other people is that the moment I park when I get to camp, there's just a sigh of relaxation and relief. So I'm so glad to hear that Lily had a great time there. At Ability First, we do offer a variety of services. And so I'm going to touch on most of our services kind of in broad strokes, and we'll offer some time for folks to ask questions. There's a lot of details in every program, always, right? So I'll start with our children's programs. Our children's programs are offered in a few different cities. I should mention we are in Los Angeles County. And so we have after school services in the city of Long Beach, Pasadena, and Claremont. And these after school programs are socialization, enrichment, and skill building programs for ages 6 to 22. And so we offer a space for children to develop some social skills and peer to peer relationships. And we're also offering full day camp during summer, spring, and winter breaks, which allows for scheduling continuity for families, as well as respite. So sometimes maybe the family does want to take some time off during those breaks, but they're able to have their child in our after school or full day programs. I do want to mention that our Long Beach Community Center offers swim lessons, warm water aquatics, and it's all indoors. So it offers swim continuity, also rain or shine. So we're able to teach swim lessons and any aquatic programs to our children as part of our program. That also includes for children our camp, but I'll talk a little bit about camp after. So that's what we do offer for children. We also have a variety of services for adults, and our adult programs are suited for individuals 18 or older. And what we've done is we've created programs that kind of meet different needs for individuals. So we have explorability, which is kind of like a typical day program, which begins in a community center. And this is important because we know that there are people who need community centers that are licensed by the state of California that can offer personal care. So medication management, personal care with using the restroom, perhaps with eating, or just care that requires a little bit more staffing or allows us to be able to say change of clothes, use in the bathroom, um, providing the medication for the individual. And this program is also a community integration program. So for most of the day, participants in these programs are connecting in their community. They're also building networks within their community. They're building relationships with their peers. But they do have a place that they start and a place that they end, which we know that is a need for some people. And we do that within a 1-to-2 ratio. So there is a community coach that supports 1 to 2 people, and in some cases, a 1 to 3, depending on the location. And this program is offered in the city of Long Beach, Inglewood, East Los Angeles, Pasadena, and Claremont.
Okay.
Um, Before I continue, do you have any questions on that?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm excited about the programs you're talking about. Like, for example, in the beginning when you were talking about the after school program, I know as a parent myself, that was one of the hardest things is that there was no such thing for my daughter anywhere that, we moved from the East Coast here to California, but even here in
Mhm.
California, an after school program was not something I could find anywhere. So the fact that you've kind of assessed that need and created that opportunity for families is, I mean, that's really, really great. I'm glad to hear that. And I love the idea of the community connection as well. So yeah, no, please continue.
Yeah. Um, there is an additional support program that is called Possibility. It's very much like our Explorability program. The difference there is that it is 100% in the community. So for individuals who don't need to be at a licensed facility, don't really need the medication management, and maybe have already developed or work on some of the navigation skills, our community coaches meet at their community. So for example, if I was working with someone that lives in Los Angeles, I'm going to go to them. We're not having them come to us. And that's really important because what we want to do is we want to strengthen the connections that people have in their community or the community that is important to them. So what we're doing is we're helping them navigate their transportation, making connections with local businesses, volunteering opportunities that can lead to possible employment. And all of that is in the community that they are comfortable with or that they identify with. And it's not always the community where they reside, but maybe the community where they want to be a part of. And so we are having our coaches, our community coaches, meet with them in those spaces. Um, that said, that means that the program, it's not a licensed program. There is no supervision offered. So we do support the individual with less personal care or without any personal care.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, and so then the other program, most of these are programs for adults. We also have 2 programs that are for individuals who are seeking higher education
Okay.
and or employment. And many times what we see is kind of the lifespan support, right? Sometimes they'll start with our explorability program, a little bit more care, possibility, kind of less support, more independence in navigation. Um, Sometimes they'll choose, you know what, I want to go to college. I want to increase my chances of getting a better job. Or sometimes they'll get a job and realize, I think getting a certificate in this area will really support in gainful employment. So we have the college to career program that supports individuals who are interested in college. It's very important that I say interested because college is
Yes.
hard. College is hard. You got to have a lot of interest yourself to actually want to go to college. There's a lot of work that comes with it. But we know college is hard. And so what we do is we offer supports through education coaching. It's also in a 1 to 2 ratio, which makes it very easy for our coaches to be able to navigate support on campus as well as online.
Well, that's
And
great.
really, yeah. And so the goal is really to help people navigate the ins and outs of college. It's easy to think, well, it's just going to class, but there's so many things that are connected to being successful as a college student, including making connections, right? Including being able to participate in campus activities, being able to advocate for yourself, right? Because once you're in college, mom and dad aren't going to be available all the time, right? And so it really designed to help people find their voice and use it independently as much as they're able to on campus. So we help the student from the moment they're interested. So we help them with the enrollment process, connecting with the resources. That may be financial aid, that may be classroom accommodations. It may be how to take the bus from home to campus. Or sometimes we have students who want to be part of clubs and maybe they're anxious. Maybe there's a really big interest in something, but they've never done it before. And so they might need a lot of support in how to do certain things because it's all new.
Right.
Yeah, and we don't do educational or counseling, right? That our role really isn't to do the counseling, but it really is to help the student navigate, find the right resources, connect with the right supports, including tutoring, meeting with their professors if they need more support outside the classroom. And all of this is done on campus. Our coaches can attend class with the student. They could also, or they could just meet with the student outside of the classroom. So we really try to tailor the need to the individual. We have students who say, hey, I really need my coach next to me at every class, and we support it. And then we have students that say, no, I think you should wait outside until class is over, then we can talk about my class, right? Because they want to work on building that self-esteem and be more independent, to not have someone that's by their side all the time. And so they're developing that. And that can change semester by semester as well. So we support the student through the entire journey of every semester. And what we see a lot is that a lot of our students are focusing on occupational certificates. So we have a lot of students at community colleges who are focusing on a very targeted focus. They're not doing the English, the math, the science. They're really interested in something. They have a niche for something and they're pursuing it, and that's helping them build greater employment opportunities. When the student has completed an educational goal, whether it be a certificate, a transfer, a degree, we help the student transition over to our supported employment program if they need it and want it. And so then our supported employment program offers coaching in the employment realm, right? In either whether it's developing your resume, whether it's securing an internship, a paid internship that can lead to employment, or just direct employment. So sometimes someone knows exactly where they want to work. Maybe they've made that connection themselves and don't really need us to make that connection, but they want us to support in maintaining the job. And so what we do is we offer an educational coach who can come and meet with the individual and assess and stay in touch with the individual to make sure the job is a good fit, answer questions. Sometimes what happens is that people don't know what they don't know. And so maybe there's something they're missing or they're unaware of their rights and maybe they're not getting their breaks and they're not aware that it's their right to have breaks at a certain time. So bringing all of that awareness to individual to make sure that they're successful.
Oh, I love that. I love the way you describe it. It sounds like, I mean, it's literally like building, like a set of building blocks, and you're building onto, where you want to see your life progress with with as little or as much support as you need. And as soon as you're mastering one step, you can transition into the next. Again, with as much or as little support as you need, and with the guidance to continue to help you explore what is your personal choice. What is your goal of where you want to go? I love that. That's really, like you said, meeting people where they're at. Like
Yeah.
when I was introducing you, I like that part of your bio. You said meeting people where they're at. And it sounds like Ability First really creates opportunities to do that. So that's really great. Um, with all the experience you have with Ability First programs, which you just gave us an amazing layout of many of them, you've probably witnessed the impact of how the types of structured peer interactions and recreational opportunities can have for both participants and families. Would you mind telling us a little bit about some of the successes that you've witnessed, and how you've seen your programs build confidence and connection?
I have so many stories, but you just made me think of one specifically because um, we do have kind of the lifespan of support, right? And so we've been able to support some people who started in our children's programs and kind of transitioned to different adult supports. And one that comes to mind is our Buddies program in Long Beach. And that's not a vendored program through our regional centers, but it's a natural, organic support that came about exactly for what you're saying is that peer support. And so the young men that are part of this buddies program got together and decided that they wanted to have once a week, they wanted to have a guys' night out. And so most of these guys, yeah, and most of these guys were part of the after school program when they were children. So they've known each other for most of their lives. And with the support of one of our staff at Long Beach, incredible guy, they decided that they were going to just get together. Again, not a vendored service, something that they do on their own, and they just get together and do things that a typical young man at their age would be doing. So they'll go to the movies, they'll go to a bar, have some drinks. Yes, drinks.
Yeah,
And I
I
know
know,
sometimes
right?
people are like, drinks. Yes, drinks. They go out and have some drinks. They go to the beach, but they just spend time together, and and it's not something um, that is very involved, and it's not something that requires a lot of planning. They just decide where the guys are going to hang out, where the buddies are going to go, where they're going to have dinner. They get together and they do things that are age appropriate and typical for young men who want to go and have a night out, right? Even if they saw each other at their day program, that's their time to
Right.
do what they want to do socially outside of programming, right? There's no programming around it. It's just them hanging out. And so, um, I think that one of the biggest things I count as a success is when people build their own communities outside their families, right? And I think that that's probably a very important element in most people's goals and dreams is that they have their community away from home, right? That they have people that they can connect with and that the families feel like, okay, I know that outside of me, there are people that they can call or people that want to see them and that they have the friendships that they've built with each other that allow families to say, when I'm not around, I know that this person is someone that they can go to, or this is someone that they feel safe around, or someone that they enjoy their company. And Buddies is an excellent example of that.
Yeah, that is a wonderful story. I mean, it's like, I love the way you describe it. And as a parent, it's so important for us to see our kids, building on to their circle of support, right? But I love the way you describe it. It came to mind. I started thinking about, it's kind of like meeting for happy hour after work, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
so you have these
Yeah.
people that are part of your day-to-day work, but then
Mhm.
they're also become your friends, and you enjoy spending time with them outside of work and getting to know them in a different way. Yeah, I love that. That's a wonderful example of that. So all of this that we're talking about sounds so amazing and so encouraging and hopeful. For me as a parent, it just sounds hopeful. And my hope would be that we could have more ability firsts all over the state and beyond. I know you're primarily in Southern California, but that's okay. I mean, still, usually when there is a program like Ability First in one area, there's might be something similar somewhere else in another area. So I would encourage families to look for, those types of programs in your local area. But thank you so much for sharing about what Ability First offers. And it sounds absolutely amazing. So I'm sure one of the first questions that families are going to have is this something that they can get funding for? How do they get assistance to attend? Is it through the regional center? Could you tell us a little bit about what that looks like and also what they need to do to learn about signing up? If they're in your area and they want to sign up for programs, what does that look like?
Yeah, great question. So I didn't talk about our camp, but that's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
one
Well,
of
no,
the,
please
yeah,
feel free.
one
We
of,
have time, and I would love for you to
okay.
share about that because for me personally, that was how I learned about you, and it was a very
Yeah.
meaningful thing. So please do share about that, and then
Yes.
roll into
So
the, yeah.
I'll connect it to your question because it is kind of related. So camp is probably one of the few programs that could be accessed statewide, right? So anyone from the state of California, ideally, even outside of the state, we've had folks joining our camp. So we have a summer camp that is located in the San Bernardino Mountains, at the city of Crestline. And it's a overnight camp that offers traditional camp sessions from June through August. And these are tailored for children ages 9 through 17, young adults ages 16 through 21, and then just 18 and older. And we also offer what's called family camp for individuals who may, or friends and family. So for individuals who may want or need a caregiver to attend with them. Sometimes, and Felisa could attest to that. Sometimes it's the first time ever that your loved one has done anything overnight, and maybe they need support, or you just want to be there the first time, right? And that is okay. And so we have that available for individuals who want to bring a caregiver, a family member, whether it's just because they want to have one or maybe because they need a little more support and they would rather have someone that already knows them, that supports them, that just knows their routines, their medications. And it just makes it easier for them to feel at ease being away from home. At camp, we have a variety of summer activities. We have um, pool. We have an aquatic programming. We have 24-hour nurses on site. So for individuals who may need some medication management, um, there is always someone available to ensure that there is consistency with that. But it's just a really, really fun experience. As Felisa was mentioning, we have some people that plan their entire summer around it, and so they get together. Some people have been going for years. I mean, we've had camp for I think over 75 years. And so we've had people who've been
Oh,
attending since they were children, right? And now they have friends who, just I'll see you next year, right? And so that's their vacation, right? That's their home away from home. And it's also the respite for the families. So giving the family some respite, giving them the opportunity to have their own little vacation. um, our options are from either 3 nights or 5 nights, and so people can select what's the most appropriate fit for them. Sometimes 5 nights is too much. Sometimes it's exactly what you need, right? Or maybe not enough nights, but it is an opportunity for recreation, connection, friendship building, and a little bit of respite for families just as much as it is for fun for the loved one. And additionally to that, so outside of our summer camp, we have a mom's retreat, and this is dedicated to moms and caregivers. And it's a whole weekend. It usually starts from Friday through Sunday, and it really is just to give moms a break, right? To give moms an opportunity to connect with other moms or just to do nothing. Sometimes it's just to go somewhere else, where no one needs you, no one's asking you for anything, and just take care of you. And just be in nature or sleep. We've had moms who just sleep the entire weekend, and whatever it is that they need, right? We welcome it. And so it's a space dedicated for that. And the last offering, well, actually, two last offerings to mention about camp is that we have a 1 day out of the year where families can come up and take a tour and have a family camp day where they get to meet our staff, they get to explore the camp and get to ask their questions, especially if you are new to camp and if you've never been exposed to camp, don't know how camp works, you're considering it and you'd like to see if your loved one is interested in camp. Camp isn't for everyone, but we like to give that opportunity for people who are interested and maybe need to be in this physical space to be able to make that decision for themselves, or just to be in nature. All of those are acceptable.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, exactly. All of those are acceptable. And then
Yeah,
you also have a virtual camp, right?
we do. We do have camp
Which
at
is great
home.
because if you meet
Yes,
people at camp, then you can stay connected. Tell us a little bit
absolutely.
about that and then go into the funding part of it.
Yeah, so camp at home is exactly that, what you said. It's an opportunity for people who've met at camp or want to meet traditional camping folks online, virtually. You don't have to be from California. You could be from out of state. We've had campers who are from out of state and want to stay connected, right, with people that they met. And it really gives an opportunity for social interaction and connections with folks and not have to wait a whole year to see each other. Funding is could be through regional center as a program activity, or it could be through self-determination, or in instances where it's like you're out of state, well, it could be through private pay, scholarships. So we offer many opportunities in different ways for people to be able to participate in that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um,
Yeah. So to your question, right? So how people can connect with their regional center. So I do want to mention that because there's a big update in what vendor codes and numbers each program has, especially now, it's really important to have those offhand, right? So if someone wanted to participate in camp, what is the vendor code for camp? And this is all really just internal stuff, but it's really helpful to have it because then it facilitates the approval process, the funding process, um, and it doesn't take as long for the service coordinator to have to identify the type of service that's being requested. All of that information I will be providing to Felisa after the webinar so that you all have the appropriate information for each program that I mentioned, the locations, service hours, all of that to help facilitate that process as well. The other thing I think is really critical, and you've probably mentioned this before, but it has to be in the IPP. It's really, really important that you advocate for the services through the IPP, right? We work with so many different regional centers and we work with so many different service coordinators, and some are really, really flexible and really responsive to a request. But when it's in the IPP, it's incredibly hard to deny a service, right? It's a lot harder to say, well, that doesn't make sense, right? So for camp, for example, um, respite is needed always, right? So if anybody that's caring for someone, you're gonna need respite, you're gonna need support, you're gonna need opportunities for for caring for yourself. And so from the get-go, you want to say, you know what, for every summer, we want to make sure that there's an opportunity for my loved one to have a recreational opportunity that is 3 nights or 5 nights, and which will also give me some respite as a caregiver. And putting that in advance, right? So you don't have to wait for summer, you don't have to wait for it to come up. You can add that at any time that you feel like, we can start planning in advance, and our camp sessions fill up very quickly because
yes.
As you probably know, Felisa, they fill up quickly. And so, for example, for this year, if people are thinking about it, taking a trip to camp would be great, right? So you can start thinking about next year and having that already as part of your IBP plan for your loved one. And then it also allows for service coordinators to kind of deal through hiccups or anything, um, code related or internal stuff, the logistical stuff. But you don't have to wait for summer to kind of initiate that conversation.
Wonderful. So everyone can look forward to some information in our follow-up thank you email, along with the recording of this session. But also, Araceli will be including some information if you're interested in camps or any of their programs, things like that. And thank you for for bringing up that very important point about the IPP, because that really does make things easier when you know, when it's in there, like you said, it's very hard to deny a person or a family services when it's already listed as a need. So
Yeah.
something to consider. But anyway, I'm so excited that we got an opportunity for you to roll through all the programs and wonderful offerings that Ability First has. And before we wrap up and head into questions, because I know that we will have some questions, is there any last thoughts that you want to share with everyone?
No, I'll wait for questions and, kind of go from there. I'm sure some of the questions will help trigger some of my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much, Araceli. This has been a wonderful offering and conversation with you. I'm so glad to meet you and so excited to just offer um, Ability First to our families and to those that are interested. So before we move on to questions, I'd like to tell you everyone a little bit more about our classes that are offered through Caring Futures. We have Future is Now, designing a support plan for you and your adult family member. It's a 6-week live online class series where caregivers develop a comprehensive future planning guide for the caregiver and their adult family member with a disability, all in a small and welcoming environment. We're excited to announce that we just launched our new self-paced online classes as well. Self-Care Matters, which is well-being for the caregiver, is a 2-week live online class series where caregivers can learn about and practice tips, resources, and strategies to improve or sustain their well-being. Future is Now and Self-Care Matters classes are also offered in Spanish. Visit our website at caringfutures.org and join our mailing list to keep up to date on these offerings, to register for classes, and more. Also, if you want to continue this conversation, then I invite you to join our Caring Futures Facebook group. It's a private group only for family caregivers, and it is a safe space for us to share our triumphs and challenges. A link to the Facebook group will be posted in the chat right now. Thank you again, Araceli, for staying for questions. So we're going to go ahead and begin our Q&A session now. If you have a question, please type it in the Q&A feature, and we will answer you directly or call your question to the attention of the group, and our guests will answer you directly. If you would like to use ASL interpretation for your question, please raise your hand and request video access in the Q&A. Okay, so let's go to questions. Let's see. Do we have any questions? There we go. We have Carrie asking, where can we find out more information about the next Moms Retreat?
Great question. I don't think that's posted yet. It typically occurs in the month of April. And the reason for that is that because the camp is located in the mountains, we do get snow. And so it's not very accessible during the winter. So we do have to wait for the snow melt. So we do have to kind of go by the weather, and we want to make sure that people can safely get up there, that we're not going to get snowed in. Because there are seasons where you get snowed in and you can't leave. So it's anywhere between April. I think this year we did it at the end of March. So you can anticipate seeing a posted schedule anywhere between mid-February, early March on our website, which I can post on the chat for everyone as well.
I was just going to say, maybe if we could connect everyone with your website, then they can kind of do what
Absolutely.
I did, which was go in there and explore and just kind of check it all out. There's so much good stuff in there. Ruth says, great presentation. Do you happen to know what the cost of the mom's retreat is? And would the regional center cover something like that? That's a great question.
Oh, yeah. I'm not aware of the regional center covering the full session. However, as a respite need, there may be some ways to do that. One of the things that we've considered doing to make it realistically vendorable is I'm trying to find the right way to say that, right? Is that there is an educational component to it so that it does come with a training or something that families are able to um, get some compensation for because there's an education part to that. So, but it isn't something that can be vendored today. And the other part of the question was,
The cost of it.
so this,
Trying to
like,
think. I don't remember
yeah,
seeing
I
that.
it's less than $500 and it's in the range of 350 and 500. So because of financial changes in the economy, I can't say what it will cost next year, but it's less than $500 for the entire weekend. And it includes your lodging of 3 meals a day, all the activities that are typically included, which include supplies, a full experience. There's usually one main event. So Saturday night is usually kind of a dance, or there's a speaker, or, there's a theme that families help connect. And so we don't always have the exact plan, but we do connect with moms and say, hey, what would you be interested in doing this year? And so we help facilitate an entire retreat based on that.
Is there a way, I'm just curious, is there a way for, if you go to the website, is there a way to kind of subscribe and get on like a regular mailing list of offerings and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea to do that. Um, and
Yes.
yeah, I think that would be really good. I'm thinking when I did see something about this year's, and like you said, it came out in April, and I do want to say that I remember the cost being somewhere around 300 or 350 or something like that, but I'm sure it varies depending on what the whole weekend's going to entail. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like a really nice break for moms. And I had asked you earlier if it meant coming by yourself or if it means coming with, your
Yeah.
child or the person you're caring for, and you clarify that it is just for the caregiver or the mom to come and be, to just get a break. So thank you for that. We've got
Yeah.
another question. Adult daughter is interested in taking Ready, writing, and friends to socialize with.
Mm.
She cannot be unsupervised. They live in Chino. So that sounds like maybe the virtual camp might be a good opportunity for her. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm terrible with distance here. I'm not, probably the Claremont service wouldn't be close enough. The closest program to Chino would be in the city of Claremont. But yeah, I think you're right, Felisa, the online virtual camp. Um, in a situation, because we've had this come up too, right? So sometimes um people are worried about people doing Zoom if they need supervision because we're not going to be supervising on Zoom. But what we do encourage is that if there is someone that can help them log on to the Zoom session, we do collect emergency information. We always have that kind of information. And if something doesn't seem right while they're on Zoom, we will call someone, right? So we've had that before, right? Where there's someone in the premise or in the house, but we're interfacing virtually with the individual. So we are aware that maybe they're not able to be unsupervised. So we can call someone and say, hey, you might want to go to the room. Your daughter might not be feeling well. You might want to check in. And so we've found workarounds that because we know that that's also important.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And I'm also thinking, like, even if Chino was a possibility in the Claremont location, so I'm
Mhm.
wondering if Sylvia's trying to also say that that her daughter might need more support. So that leads
Mhm.
me to the question about one-to-one support. It didn't sound like in listening to the overall program overview that most of the ratios were 1 to 2, or you said one to
Yeah,
three. So typically, is one-to-one support ever an offering, or
it is. It does have to be something that we work very closely with each regional center based on, yeah, Claremont is far, yeah. Um, it, it has to be worked really closely with their service coordinator.
okay,
And what happens sometimes is that there is an agency that is able to provide the one-on-one, right? If we're not able to do that.
okay,
And so the one-on-one will meet on site with our participant in our program, and they will work with them to be a part of our bigger activities. Now, in the Claremont area, because it's a licensed facility, as long as they don't need one-on-one for behavioral support, we are able to provide personal care and supervision at that program.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that. Any more questions? Now's a great opportunity to get specific with your questions. Okay, you're welcome,
You're welcome,
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
I hope we were able to answer that for you. Um, Anybody else before we wrap up today? Well, thank you again, Araceli, for being here with us, for giving us such a detailed overview of all that Ability First offers our families and our individuals with disabilities. We're so grateful for that. And I hope everyone enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you for joining
Yeah.
us. We'll
Thank you
see
so
you
much for
next
having
time.
us.
All
Thank
right.
you. All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye. Thank you.